Hello, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a video on the cities that the UFC needs to go to. It seems like they have their own schedule that they follow. They love to go to MSG in November. They go to Newark, New Jersey around May or June. They go to LA once a year. They're in Vegas every single other card. And then they go to Canada, Australia, Saudi Arabia, and Abu Dhabi. It's the same cities every single year. There's very little variety. Like in a couple weeks, they are going to Houston, which is very new. They haven't been there in quite a few years. But the cities I have on this list, they haven't been in many, many years, and they're well overdue for an appearance. And I don't know why they haven't been there. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first city that they need to go to is Detroit, Michigan. My hometown. I grew up around this area. I lived in this city for a few years. I lived all around this city for the vast majority of my life. They have a perfect venue in the Little Caesars Arena. And see, look, I even got the venue you can go to, the capacity of that venue. The last time they were there, I got some notes on why you should go there. Like there's a major airport in Romulus, which is about 20 minutes away from Detroit. There's a ton of hotels in downtown Detroit. There's a ton of casinos that you can go to. You can do sports books. Like there's so much revenue that can be made. So I even laid out everything for you, Dana, if you're watching this video, because I know you definitely are. But yeah, you got 20 to 22,000 people that you can fit in this arena. One of the larger arenas on this list, actually. The last time they went there was UFC 218. That was Max Holloway versus Jose Aldo 2. And it features, as you can see right there, one of the greatest knockouts in UFC history. Francis Ngannou versus Alistair Overeem, one of the most iconic finishes in the history of the sport. Everybody has seen it, and I guarantee you very few people knew that that took place in Detroit, Michigan. Again, such a good history when it comes to a fight town. Of course, it's more boxing. You got Kronk Jim, you got guys like Tommy Hearns, you got a lot of names that come from the boxing world, not so much the MMA world. But, I mean, we have such a passionate fan base. We have the most loyal fans as well. Anytime you're at a Lions game, you're at a Wings game, you're at a Tigers game, the energy there is just so fucking good. Doesn't matter if we're 0-16, if we're 15 and if we're 2-28 like the Pistons started a couple years ago. Come on, dude. This is a beautiful city with beautiful fans and a beautiful atmosphere. Why have you not been here in so long? Next city on the list is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Can you believe that they have not been here in 7 years? And why? Like, it makes no sense. This is one of the most iconic sports cities in America. In the world, honestly, but in America for sure. Like, if you want to rank sports fans on their loyalty and their die-hardness, whatever you want to call it, you're going to have Philly in either number one or two. You'll have New York City fans. You'll have Chicago fans. Then, I mean, maybe you'll have, like, Dallas fans. LA fans are more towards the bottom. Boston fans, I'm sorry. Boston fans are, like, number one or two on the list. Philly is going to be one or two, depending on the day. Just the most passionate fans. Again, another major boxing town. The movie Rocky was filmed here and it takes place there. You got a ton of stars in the boxing world as well as the MMA world. You got Sean Brady. You got Joe Pyfer. I know he was in Philadelphia. He was more North Philly, I think. He was more near New Jersey. But was he born in Jersey, actually? I think he was born in Jersey. Yeah, I think he was born in Jersey. But the vast majority of his life, he lived in Pennsylvania. So you have some stars here. Sean Brady, of course, is not in title contention anymore, but he was once the number one contender a few short months ago. So I don't know why you haven't gone there and have him main event it. You had Eddie Alvarez, you had Paul Felder. Like, you had so many possibilities and opportunities to capitalize on this. You have a lot of the Rufus-Sport guys are from the Philly area. Jeremiah Wells, he's from Pittsburgh, but it's still Pennsylvania. So you can put a ton of Northeast guys on this list. You could get away with putting like a Jim Miller because he's from Sparta, New Jersey. You can put some New Jersey and honestly even some New York guys as well. I don't know why you haven't been to Philadelphia in 7 years, 6 years. It makes no sense at all. So, and again, you got the Xfinity Mobile Arena where the Philadelphia Flyers and the Philadelphia 76ers play. I mean, you have the four Philly sports teams all are within like a mile of each other. So you could even go to where actually, no, there's no roof on the Eagle Stadium, so never mind. But yeah, you have a lot of options that you can go to in Philly. Honestly, you can go to Pittsburgh as well, too. Next is San Francisco, California. Can you believe that there has never been an event in San Francisco? There's been a couple events in the Bay Area. There was one in San Jose. And I think there may have been one in Santa Clara. I think. I'm not sure, but the thing is, you had American Kickboxing Academy in San Jose, California. You had Daniel Cormier, Habib, Luke Rockhold. You had King Velasquez. You had so many great names in the Bay Area, and yet you've only had like one or two events there, and you've never been to San Francisco. You can go to the Chase Center where the Warriors play. You don't have the largest capacity, only 19.5, but you can get away with, kind of gouging the prices because it is San Francisco, and that's just how it goes. If you're in Des Moines, Iowa, like you were last year, the tickets will be mad cheap. But if you go to San Francisco, if you go to New York City, if you go to LA, the tickets you can get away with putting them as much higher. So San Francisco, California, beautiful, beautiful city. A lot of issues, but we're not going to get into that. Beautiful, beautiful city. You have a ton of combat sports history that is from there. You have a very, very die-hard fan base. You got the guys down in Santa Clara repping the 49ers. You got the guys that are in San Francisco Bay, which are Giants fans. You got Warriors fans who have just been spoiled over the last decade when it comes to success. Honestly, the San Francisco crowd has been so fucking spoiled when it comes to sporting events. Like you've had the Niners who have made it to the Super Bowl twice in the last 5 years. You've had the Warriors who have won 4 championships in the last 10 years. You've had I guess the San Jose Sharks below, so you can forget about that. And the San Francisco Giants won the 3 World Series in 6 years, I think. They actually swept my Detroit Tigers in 2012. That was very sad to see. That was a rough moment, but they also beat the Giants, or not the Giants, they beat the Rangers in the World Series. They beat the Royals in the World Series. And of course, the Niners have had that dynasty with Joe Montana and Steve Young. San Francisco is a fucking spoiled city. You even got Oakland, just across the bridge. So you could even go to Oakland too, because the Warriors used to play in Oakland. You could go to, again, Santa Clara. You could go to San Jose. There's just so many cities in the Bay Area that you can go to. You could probably go to Palo Alto. I think Palo Alto has a arena there. You could even go to Berkeley. Like, there's so many fucking cities. How have they never been to the Bay Area? They only went to San Jose once or twice. Like, what are we doing? So much possibilities and opportunities there. But the next city is Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. If you have ever watched the Oklahoma City Thunder in the playoffs, you will know that these fans are fucking electric. Absolutely amazing fans. The atmosphere is amazing. It's a true college atmosphere, which even makes sense because you have 2 major universities within a half hour of Oklahoma City. You have Oklahoma State in Stillwater. You have University of Oklahoma, Boomer Sooners. You got that in Norman, Oklahoma. So, I mean, like, this is just such a passionate sports town. You don't really have massive combat sports talent which hails from Oklahoma City, but I mean, who really cares? You haven't been to Oklahoma City since 2017. Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Lee. I don't know if you guys remember that old press conference. Don't say shit about my mom. And then they start charging at each other. Like, come on, that was very entertaining. But you have a major airport there. You have a very, very passionate fan base. And yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't go out there. Like I said, if you've ever watched the Oklahoma City Thunder, if you've ever watched a University of Oklahoma game, the fan atmosphere that they bring is just so fucking amazing. It's intoxicating. Yeah, you've got to go to Oklahoma City. Next is Phoenix, Arizona. For some reason, they don't go there that much. And Arizona has one of the most stacked MMA scenes outside of Las Vegas and Southern California. I mean, Phoenix, actually, no, honestly, above Southern California. But outside of Vegas, the Phoenix area, or just the Arizona state in general, has the best MMA scene. You have Sean O'Malley, you got the Fight Ready Gym, you have MMA Lab. Like, so many fighters either hail from Arizona or train in Arizona. I don't know why you wouldn't be going out there. You can put so many Arizona guys there. You can put Sean O'Malley. Mario Bautista just had a crazy win yesterday. Phenomenal win. Great for him. Again, there's just so many guys. Kelvin Gastelum trains there. I think he's not from there. He's from Southern California, but he trains in Yuma, Arizona, I believe. Marcus McGee, Kyler Phillips. I could just keep on going. There's so many names that train there. They haven't been there since UFC 274. That was, of course, when Charles Oliveira very controversially lost the belt on the scale and then went and submitted Justin Gaethje in the first round and just had his way with him. The venue you can go to is the Mortgage Matchup Center. I believe that is where the Phoenix Suns play. Phoenix fans are also very passionate. You know, you got the Phoenix Suns, which are, I think they're the 3 or 4 seed in the West right now. They're doing pretty good. Yeah, again, you got a great fan base out there, and you haven't been out there in a few years. I feel like this should be an annual appearance. I think you should be going to Arizona every single year. You can go to Scottsdale, you can go to Phoenix, you can go to Flagstaff, you can go to Prescott. Like, there's so many cities in Arizona that you can go to. And again, another, metropolitan area which has such a massive college fan base field because you have 2 major universities there in Arizona State University, which is in Tempe, Arizona, and also the University of Arizona, which is in, I think, Scottsdale. I believe it's in Scottsdale. So yeah, the next city is Tampa, Florida, the city that I am speaking from right now. You have the Amalie Arena, which has now been named to some other bullshit, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. You did go there actually very recently in December of 2024, the last event of the year of 2024. And what do you know? It was literally the best fight night of the year and one of the top 5 best events, period, that entire year. It was fucking amazing. It was headlined by Joaquin Buckley and Colby Covington. You had a lot of great fights on there. You had Fernando Padilla versus Sean Woodson was a really fun scrap. You have a very big MMA scene. I know that more is in South Florida, Coconut Creek area, Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale, Deerfield Beach, Miami. And I know that's only 3 or 4 hours away from Tampa, but you can stack that talent from there and put it on the Tampa card. And I believe that was the only time they've ever been to Tampa, which is really, really strange because it's the 3rd biggest city in Florida behind, there's the fourth biggest city. I think it's the 4th biggest city behind Jacksonville, Orlando, Miami, and then Tampa is number 4. You went to Jacksonville actually in the summer of 2023. That was headlined by Ilia Topuria versus Josh Emmett. Really fun card, really fun scrap. They haven't been to Orlando in a couple years. I think the last time they went to Orlando was when they did Stephen Thompson versus Kevin Holland, which was December of 2022. But you frequent Miami every single year. It's always between March and May. They're going again this year in March. They went last year in April. They went the year before that in April. You frequent Miami, but I think you need to frequent Tampa. You need to frequent Orlando. You need to frequent Jacksonville. Maybe not Jacksonville because they only have, I mean, it's the biggest city in Florida, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know the what do you call it? I don't know the MMA scene out there. I'm pretty sure Ramon Tavares is from Jacksonville. I think he's the only Jacksonville guy I can think of. The guy with the blonde hair and the tattoos. The guy that had the war with Surrey City. But Tampa needs to be a place that you go to. You got to put Billy Q as, not the main event, but Billy Q's got to be on there. Billy Q actually had a really fun fight against Cub Swanson. He had like one of the fight of the year contenders on that Tampa card against Cub Swanson. What a fucking scrap that was. Sad to see him lose though, but I mean, he always shows out. He's technically from Rochester, New York, but he trains in Tampa. I believe he actually owns Gracie Barra South Tampa. I'm pretty sure he owns that gym. I could be wrong. I think it might be another gym. It's either that one or another one, but it's one of the Gracie gyms in Tampa that he owns now, and he is a coach at. So the Tampa crowd would love to see Billy Q out there, and also we would just love to see the UFC return to Tampa. You can put all the Florida talent out there. So please just return. Please. And I'm so fucking pissed because I was out of town when this event happened, and I was going to go to it, but again, I was out of town. And that was going to be the first UFC event I ever went to. And had I gone to that event, I would have made my fucking money's worth and then some because it was such an excellent event. God damn it, bro. Whatever. They'll go out there soon. I feel it in my heart. Next is Boston, Massachusetts. The last time they went out there was August of 2023. That was Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling. You had Zhang Wei Li as the co-main event. You had Pedro Munoz versus Marlon Vera as the main card opener. You had Brad Katona versus, what's his name? Brad Katona versus Cody Gibson, the teacher from California. Such a fun card. Sean O'Malley became champion there. Boston, Massachusetts is probably the most passionate sports town in America. It only rivals Philadelphia and Chicago, and maybe New York City as well. But You also have such a rich combat sports history, mainly when it comes to boxing. You don't have many MMA guys that come from there. You got the New England Cartel, which you got Calvin Cater, Rob Font. You have Connor Matthews. Is that his name? Connor Matthews is from there. He's from Massachusetts. Other Massachusetts talent. There's one guy I'm thinking of, but I can't remember. He's not in the UFC anymore. Oh my gosh, I can't think of his name. But yeah, you have such a rich combat sports history in Boston, Massachusetts. You can go to the TD Garden where the Boston Celtics play, one of the most iconic arenas in America. And it's just a beautiful, gorgeous city. Tons of history when it comes to just America, but also combat sports as well. Amazing fans. Of course, you have a major airport nearby. Like there's of course a ton of casinos as well, so you can cash in on all the sports books and all the sports betting. I do believe sports betting is legal in Massachusetts. There's just no excuse as to why Boston, Massachusetts is not a city that they go to annually, especially when Dana White is from that area. I know he's from Connecticut, but I'm pretty sure he lived in Boston for a lot of time before he went out to Vegas and fled Whitey Bulger. It's a whole different story before he fled the mob, but yeah, just a gorgeous city, amazing fans. I don't know why you would want to come out here every single year. This should be an annual staple like New York City is, like Los Angeles is, like Miami is, like Canada is. I believe that's the last one we have on the list. Am I wrong? Nope, that is the last one we have on the list. So thank you very much for watching. I may do a part 2. Comment what more cities in America, but also outside of America that you want to see the UFC go to. Because they used to go to a lot of cities, like they would go to countries like Singapore, they would go to Sweden, they would go to a lot of different countries, but they haven't really been doing that recently. They like to stay with their UAE, with their Canada, with their Australia, and with their Mexico. They don't like to go to many other countries, which is a little bit unfortunate because, I mean, you have a ton of fighters from those countries, from a lot of these different countries. I mean, there's 290 countries in the world, and they only go to 5 every single year. I don't know why you're not going to 10, 15, 20. I know they're trying to go to Japan, so that's going to be really fun. I don't even believe they've ever been to Japan. I think they went there. No, I think they did many, many years ago, like 2007, 2008. Of course, they've been talking about going to Spain for a long time, especially because you have Ilia Topuria. You have Joel Alvarez putting on for the Spanish talent. There's just so many countries that you can go to. So again, leave in the comments what cities and or countries the UFC needs to go to. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at VinceMMA1. And go to 3punchconvo.com. Use my code VinceMMA for a first free month. It is a MMA discussion forum where there is a ton of UFC fighters and UFC personalities that are very common and very frequent in that space. All you do is you just leave your thoughts on any events you've had, or just any UFC thoughts that you want to get off your chest. You can do it there. You can use it for free, or you can use my code VinceMMA for a first free month, and after that, it'll be $4.99 a month. That's the price of a coffee. So thank you very much for watching, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you.